All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really powerful productivity method for leaders, and it's all based on a simple and, maybe a slightly strange idea called eating the frog. As weird as this sounds, this is all about conquering your most important tasks, and trust me, it might just change the way you start your day.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. I want you to think for a second. What's that one big, critical, and probably pretty uncomfortable thing on your to-do list right now? You know the one you keep pushing off to the afternoon or maybe even to tomorrow. Got it in your head? Good, just hang on to that thought.
You know that feeling of avoidance? It's super common, and it leads us straight into what you could call the procrastination trap. This is that place where you're constantly busy, right? You're clearing out emails, you're jumping from meeting to meeting, handling all the small stuff, but you're not actually moving the needle on the things that really, truly matter.
So the big question is, how do you get out of that trap? How do you stop just being busy and start being effective? Well, the solution is this beautifully simple method called eat the frog. And the whole idea is actually pretty straightforward. You find that one single task, that's your frog, and you do it first thing, before anything else. No checking emails, no grabbing that second cup of coffee, no knocking out the easy wins. You do the hard, important thing first. And that really sets the tone for your whole day.
Now this is a really key point. A frog isn't just any hard task. It has to be a high-impact one. We're talking about that crucial action or that big decision that you absolutely know is going to make a real difference. And, let's be honest, that's often exactly why it feels so daunting to even begin.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does a frog actually look like in the real world, especially in a demanding, high-stakes job? Let's get a little more specific.
Yeah, we're not talking about small stuff here. If you're in a field like forensics, a leader's frogs are the really tough calls, the ones that might create a little bit of friction. It's about having those uncomfortable performance conversations or making unpopular budget decisions that are just absolutely vital for the team's integrity and, frankly, its performance.
In fact, you can kind of break these frogs down into two main types. First, you've got your people frogs. These are all about the challenging interpersonal stuff, like giving tough feedback or mentoring someone who's struggling. Then, on the other hand, you have the technical frogs. These are those hard operational decisions, like tackling a huge case backlog or rolling out a new procedure that people aren't used to.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. The main point is that eating the frog isn't just about you ticking a box on your to-do list. Not at all. When a leader does it, it sends out this powerful ripple effect to the whole team.
And this is just so critical. Because when you, as the leader, step up and tackle that hard, important thing first, you send a crystal clear signal to everyone. You're showing them with your actions, not just your words, what this team actually values. And hint, it's not just being busy.
And you can see the domino effect right here. It all starts with you, the leader, eating the frog. That action shows everyone what's important. That signal starts to build a culture that's focused on high-impact work. And that culture is what ultimately protects the things that matter most: your lab's reputation, your accreditation, and your results.
Okay, but let's get real for a minute. What happens when you're working in a super fast-paced environment? The kind of place where your biggest priority at 9 in the morning might be totally different by 11?
Well, the reality is, a super strict one frog a day rule, it just isn't practical when you have to be responsive. In jobs where urgent things like court deadlines or major incidents can just pop up out of nowhere, you've got to have a system that can bend a little.
And that's where a more realistic, hybrid approach comes in. So instead of a rigid rule, the key is to just protect a block of time early in the day, maybe the first hour or the first 90 minutes, to work on your frog. That way, you're still making progress on those big priorities, but you've got the flexibility to pivot when something urgent and unavoidable lands on your desk.
Now, what's really cool is that you can scale this idea up. This doesn't have to be just for you personally. You can actually turn it into a powerful tool to get your whole team aligned on a single shared goal.
So just imagine this for a second. Instead of everyone working on their own individual frog, what if the entire team agrees on a shared frog? For instance, maybe you all decide that the first 90 minutes of every single day are dedicated to nothing but clearing a critical backlog. Suddenly, everyone's effort is pointed in the same direction, towards a strategic goal, not just their own to-do list.
So let's bring this all back home, right back to where we started. I want you to think about your job, right now. After everything we've talked about, what is your biggest frog? What is that one high-impact, probably uncomfortable task that if you tackled it first thing tomorrow morning would make the biggest possible difference? That's your frog. The only question left is, what are you going to do about it?